My next guest is coming off an impressive win at Bellator 279 in Hawaii on April 23rd, getting it done over Maraya Miller. It's Randi Field joining me here on the program for the very first time. Randi, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you for asking. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, well, I'm happy to speak to you as well, a fellow Canadian, which is always nice. Just tell me how you're feeling just a few days removed. First submission victory, at least in the pro ranks, and you get it on this big stage. That must have been very satisfying for you.
Oh my God, it felt so good to win by submission. I mean, about it beforehand, I did say that I wanted to finish this fight in round 2. So I didn't know under the first minute, but yeah, I know that I needed to do like a hard reset after that first round. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of my win.
That's great. So that probably was the game plan then, to try and submit it, or like what was sort of the plan heading in?
No, the plan heading in was literally just keeping her away from me and kind of trying to pick her apart. I have a habit of like rushing in and bull rushing people, and you can always tell when I'm going to throw a punch because every time I step in, I throw. So we did a little differently this time, trying to keep her away. And I remember like the first time she actually caught me and she threw me, it was like a slow motion, like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I know that she was able to hold me down and control me at my chest. So it was really hard for me to even turn to get into her. So I know that when the bell went off, I kind of sat there for a second. I was like, okay, you got to regroup and get it back together. And then, yeah, that second round came in and I was not having it. I was just like, get off of me.
Yeah. And it worked out well. I know you fought for Bellator before, but like, what were the nerves like going into this fight with it being in Hawaii, it being one of their bigger events? Where it didn't look like you were nervous or anything, but how did you feel in there?
I felt so much better than the first time. I mean, of course, it's normal to have nerves because, you know, I thought I was supposed to be the 5th fight on the preliminary card, and then I got pushed to the 9th, and then I got pushed to after the main card. It was kind of like back and forth with where I was going there. Kind of like, you know, you get nervous because you're about to walk out. Oh, never mind, you're not nervous. No,
Yeah.
not yet. So it was kind of like up and down. Everything was so smooth. I couldn't have asked for a better camp or anything.
That's great. So how do you celebrate after a big win like that? You're in paradise, you get the big win, plus you get to watch all the other awesome fights on the card. What would you get up to?
Yeah, we actually afterwards we just kind of went out, saw everybody. It was my birthday on the Monday. So Manny and I had went and gone to a private beach that from friends that we met there. They invited us there, so we went snorkeling with sea turtles, and it's just like it was nice to be able to actually go and relax, not have to worry about what I'm gonna eat.
Yeah,
So that was great.
Yeah, and of all places to do it, Hawaii, which was great. How was the overall experience just getting to be a part of, like I said, a really big card for Bellator? They had the 2 events, and you know, you get to share a card with Chris Cyborg. Like, what was that whole experience like for you?
That whole experience was amazing, like unmatched anywhere. Like Bellator treated well. Their staff is all so good. Anything, my management team. This time I had Sucker Punch managing me. Last, you know, my manager, I don't recall him checking in on me. You know, it was just kind of like I felt like everybody was there for me rather than last time I felt like I was more of the B side, so I didn't feel as confident or yeah, everything. It was just everything was perfect. And I met Chris a couple years ago in Vegas, and we had went out to dinner together. So it was really cool to see her again and just kind of reminisce on that time. And yeah, now we were both winners on the same card.
Very cool. It all comes full circle, as they say, which is great. For those who might not know, what is your contract status with Bellator? Did you sign like a multi-fight deal? Are you going to be back with them, or what's the latest with you and your fight career?
Yep, I have 4 fights with Bellator, so I still have another 2 fights left. I'm hoping that, you know, because I did sign at WIF, but this previous one I fought at 120. I mean, if they'd be willing to go down to 115 for me too, like I'd fight at that as well. So it's just kind of seeing what we have to play with for our next.
And ideal time to return and have your next fight. Have you thought about that yet? When would you like to get back in there and have the next one?
Well, it looked like I took no damage, but unfortunately I did dislocate my thumb throwing punch. So I think I just had a tight fist and it just got jammed up. So I think that will be at least recovery. And yeah, I mean, whatever my management team comes at me with, I would hopefully not like to wait as long, because this was my last. So, and before that, it was 2 years prior to that. So definitely would like to get the ball rolling. I think it will help with nerves.
And any opponents in mind, or just leave that up to your coaches, your management, and I guess too, you got to see when you're cleared, and then you can kind of look at the rest of the roster. Or are there any opponents you're kind of looking at?
No, there's no one.
Yeah, just leave it up to them, right? Yeah. Why even worry about that? Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, and I know my management team is definitely they'll always find someone that's good for me, a good opponent for me, so that I can. I want to work my way back up. It sucked coming in, a 2-year layoff and then getting that loss. Like, that really sucked. So having to come back from that, like, I know that they're going to help me get where I'm supposed to be.
You did an interview before this fight with one of my good buddies, Drake Riggs, and it was really revealing. And I credit to Drake. He's very good at sort of doing that, pulling out the good details and really turning it into a good story. How was the feedback on that? I'm sure you had some people reach out to you, maybe inspired by your story and just kind of telling your side of things that people might have not known going into the fight.
Yeah, I was really happy that he did that interview, because, that was something I always had wanted to talk about, but I never really knew how to talk about it. And then what actually brought me to decide to start sharing the story was, I think I kind of, after my last fight, I was really down on myself. And my psychologist had asked me a question about when there was a time that I demonstrated strength or I thought I was strong. And my answer to that was, I don't think I ever demonstrated strength. And it's something that I dream of doing. So that kind of led me to dig deep on myself and kind of figure out what I could find out about myself to be inspired by me, because at the end of the day, like, I can get inspired by other people, but that's still them. I don't know their life story and why they are where they are. And I think it was something that I wanted to let people know about me, just to know that how tough I am, and even in this fight, it showed, like, I got put in a really bad situation. Round 1, she tried to ground and pound me, but, like, I don't think that and no one caught it on camera, which I wish they did. But the ref had asked me, like, Randi, are you okay? And I shoved my thumb out and I was like, I'm good. So, like, I just, like, I've faced adversity before, and I've been able to come out on top. So it's just kind of, no matter what, I think it's like, I want people to know, like, Randi's always going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't worry, but she's got it. She knows, she planned it.
Yeah, no, it was a great story. And yeah, it was just, like I said, it's always great to see people, kind of share their story and have others sort of be inspired by it, which I'm sure a lot of people were. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got to mention this as a fellow Canadian. Have you been nudging Scott Coker to get an event back in Canada? I was at the last event, May 2014. That's been way too long. In fact, I don't think there's been a single Bellator Canada event since Coker took over. He's got to get up on that. Is there anything you're hearing, or are you hoping to fight in Canada? I'm sure too.
Oh, that would be awesome to fight in Canada. Because I didn't know when I fought this girl this weekend, she was from, like, literally from there. So they announced her, and then the crowd's like going wild, and then they're like, and Randi Field, and it was like, you could have heard a pin drop in there. Like, it was like, oh, okay. So I know, like, my first 2 pro fights were here in Windsor, and I had an amazing crowd. It was awesome. But you know what? Like, to be honest, it's the same no matter what. It doesn't matter. But it would definitely be nice to have it in Canada and get more of, like, more followers and fan base out here.
Yeah. Well, they have a couple Canadians on the roster. Yourself, they've got Josh Hill, Lance Gibson, Aaron Jeffrey just signed with them for their middleweight division. So I don't know. I'd like to see them come up north. It's been forever. They used to do it at Casino Rama back in the day in Aurelia, if you know where that is, and it's a great venue. So yeah, it would be good to see them go back there. Before we get out of here, got to ask, because again, I know we've talked all about fighting. What are some of your other hobbies outside of fighting? A lot of us were outdoors people here in Canada. What do you like doing as far as, or are you watching any Netflix Netflix? What do you like doing on the downtime when you get a little bit of it?
I honestly, I live in the gym pretty much. But I have 3 kids here at home, so we are busy as a family all the time. I'm always doing stuff with my kids. And then also I am a massage therapist, so I also do that as well. So I'm like, what do? I like to stay home. I've kind of like been there, done that, and now that like I'm doing so many good things, like I want to make sure like I'm fully recovered for my next day of activities.
Yeah, that makes sense. I got 2 kids. It's always like a negotiation if I want to get any sort of free time, because just like, it's tough with the vehicle and all that stuff. So I totally hear you on that. I get all my time, like my free time is like just after the kids go to bed, and then I'm good. So I'm sure it's the same way, where you get like maybe a little bit of time to watch some TV, and then you got to go right to bed and get up early and do it all over again, right?
Yep. But I love it.
That's exactly. No, I agree. Randi, again, congrats on the win. That was awesome. Looking forward to the next one. In the meantime, if you got any sponsors, shout outs, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
I definitely do. We have our sponsors, a lot of local. We have Conquer Construction, Elevate Health Boutique, Auto Glass, Tantalize Tanning Salon, Ziggy, Veg Tech, and Armando's Pizza. They are locally around here. We also have is it Perfect Sports, and also Marshall Emu. So we've got a whole bunch of support around here, which has made this journey so much easier.